One intriguing aspect of the 2025 Law & Order crossover, titled Playing with Fire, was the new rivalry between Benson, Mariska Hargitay, and another character. The crossover involved Benson working with the homicide unit to identify some burnt remains and bring a rapist and killer to justice. However, it soon became one of Law & Order, SVU's saddest episodes when the victim was identified as Maria Racinos, a police officer who Benson had rescued from a terrifying situation as a child. Maria's death left Benson more determined than ever to seek justice, especially after it became clear that the serial rapist and killer who took Maria's life was her commanding officer, Paul Gomez. Throughout the Law & Order crossover, Benson and the homicide unit were on the same side. However, they did not have the same values, and Benson's trauma-centered approach to law enforcement and determination to get answers continually clashed with another character's investigative style. Benson and Brady clashed repeatedly over how to approach the case in the 2025 Law & Order crossover. They both wanted justice but had different methods of achieving it. Benson understands trauma better than any of the other cops in the Law & Order franchise, so it was inevitable that she would butt heads with the more procedurally minded Brady, Maura Tierney. Thus, Brady's aggressive style only makes it harder to get information out of a witness who had experienced multiple traumas such as an ICE raid, a rape, and the death of her close friend. Unfortunately, it offends Brady that Benson asks her to step out of the room in her own precinct so that Benson could offer a safer, more supportive environment for the witness. Later, the conflict intensifies when Benson is the one to get too aggressive with the suspect. Brady tells her to dial it back, leaving Benson feeling annoyed and insulted. However, this conflict goes beyond bruised egos. Both Benson and Brady take this case personally for different reasons and want to do whatever it takes to solve it, so they see the other's feedback as interference with their goal rather than an attempt to redirect their energy in a more productive manner. Thus, they are in continuous conflict despite being on the same side. Benson and Brady's conflict was a refreshing change for the Law & Order franchise. Neither was completely right or wrong. 2025 Law & Order and SVU crossover. Benson standing by a car. Benson often butts heads with other cops who don't understand her trauma-centered approach or don't seem to be as dedicated to the truth as she is, and Brady is equally determined to fight for justice. These qualities should make the women natural allies, but instead, they keep getting in each other's way because of their belief that their approach is the only correct one. However, this conflict is far more nuanced and interesting than the typical Law & Order, SVU stories involving Benson and other cops in management positions. Both women have purely good intentions rather than anyone trying to cover up the truth. Additionally, the women care deeply about each other as people despite their continued clashes. This is especially striking in the scene where Brady suggests Benson recuse herself from the case. Brady is genuinely concerned about Benson's well-being in this scene, which is why she makes the suggestion even though it irritates Benson. Despite Benson's annoyance, she returns the favor later in the scene when Brady worries aloud about updating a grieving parent and Benson offers to do it for her. These interactions make the conflict more nuanced, as the character's anger is intertwined with caring. How Benson and Brady's conflict should lead to more Law & Order crossovers. There are many cases where they could cross paths. 2025 Law & Order and SVU crossover. Benson and her team looking at something off-screen. Benson has appeared on Law & Order Season 24 twice, and in both cases, she got upset with someone over their treatment of trauma survivors. Obviously, it would quickly become boring if she butted heads with Brady over this issue every week. However, there is a nuanced way to build on their fragile friendship that would help it progress and lend depth to future crossover stories. By consistently including small interactions between Benson and Brady, the franchise can build their relationship without taking up excessive screen time. The Law & Order franchise should build in more mini crossovers. There have been several instances where the homicide unit has dealt with witnesses, suspects, or victims who were also raped or sexually assaulted. Brady could reluctantly call Benson in to consult on such cases. Similarly, Benson could consult Brady when chasing a serial rapist who kills their victims. Adding small interactions between these two leaders would help make the franchise feel more cohesive while building the relationship between Brady and Benson.